In tailoring, we always talk about balance. And I believe when you take something from one end, you have to fill in the other side so you can have balance. And so that point plays a role in what we're talking about today, which is what does it actually take to get noticed in fashion? If you, I want to speak to introverts because for extroverts, this is very easy. I was an introvert, still am. But if you're a shy person, you can't be shy in fashion. Or you could be shy, but don't allow your brand to also be shy, right? Because if you're shy, you need to let your brand speak for yourself. Either way, you need to let your brand speak for yourself. And so, extrovert or not, introvert or not, you need to let your brand speak for itself. And so, that's how you get noticed in fashion. The way you look has plays a role. The way you dress, the way you present yourself, the way you talk to people, um, how reliable you are, the quality of your work. Just a list of things that basically adds up to your brand. Who you are as a brand. And so, what I used to do is, I used to be someone who always sit in the back of the class, but at some point I had to network. I had to get out there and network and show people what I can do. And so I wasn't really the person to step up to people and talk. So what I do, I started working on my style. I worked on my style all the time. I was, already into a style, so it wasn't so much into a style, so it wasn't so much a lot of work. But I realized that if I was dressed well and I was perceived to be someone, then people came to me instead of me going to those people, right? My work, the way I look, my presentation spoke for itself before I could even say anything. Um, so I'll let what I'm wearing speak for me. I'll show my work every chance I get. I will reach out to brands and people I want to work for. I'll aim high. I didn't always get an answer, but each one made a big difference. Those are just talking points that I wrote, but I'm gonna go through them. Um, I already talked about, getting dressed up and, wearing your identity, basically, the thing that you're comfortable in and you're just glowing in whenever people see you, your own style that people always compliment on you on. Everybody doesn't have to get it, but it is definitely something that gets you noticed. That's important. I will show my work every chance I get. Once the conversation started, I will show my work. This is what I'm doing. This is what I did. This is what I'm doing now, and these are what I'm planning on doing. That showed that I was active, and that as an artist, you always have something cooking, and that um, um, uh, uh, develop an interest in people and wanting to get to know me more. And since I was always working on different projects, there was always something to talk about. And when those people would show and that they were, when those people would seem impressed, I would exchange information, and I always would let them know, let me know when you need something, and I was always ready to help. So I made sure that I contaminated people with my spirit and my brand so they would never forget about me, right? By sight, by emotion, and also by reliability. I reach out to brands all the time. I used to like send emails to brands like it was again like 50 messages, 100 messages. Honestly, I would just write one message and then I'll send it all out. But it was a lot of work too because some of them I had to rewrite them. But initially, I always started out with one message, and then I would start sending them out. If I needed to make changes, I would. I would also research agencies, companies, anybody who would work with somebody like me who had my knowledge. I would just reach out to them. And sometimes I would send out 50, 100 emails and you wouldn't hear something back right away. On a random day, they'll be like, yeah, hey, you want to come in for an interview? Um, it was sometimes when I had a job, sometimes when I didn't. I was always working, but these emails would come out of nowhere, like, "Hey, do you want to work, or do you want to come in and interview and things like that?" And that was always because I was ahead of myself. I always reached out. I was always showing my work. Hey, this is what I do. This is what I've done. This is the opportunity I'm looking for. So keep in mind when it comes up. Um, and I'll aim high. I'll aim for companies that I don't know. I'll just aim high for not just to work anywhere, to work with just anyone. I'll aim high to work with people um, with whom it will count, with brands it will count, right? When people see those names on your resume, they'll be like, "Oh wow, you have some experience under your belt." All very strategic. I would choose the brands and the people I reached out to based on where I wanted to go. Okay, and again, for a long time, this seemed like just an effort without any fruit, but something always came out of it. Something always came out of it, and a huge part of my business too was referrals. Whenever I will do one thing, I will make sure that I'll do it well, finish it well, leave a good impression, and it always led to another person getting in touch with me from another person, and so on and so forth. And so when I noticed that this is a thing, I just doubled down on it. And so I'll do a great job and leave a good impression everywhere. Um, if you're someone who hold grudges or has, are easily emotional, I will caution you about how you grow in fashion because fashion is a huge world, but it is also a tiny world, which where everybody knows everyone, nationally, internationally, everybody knows everyone. So never make bad blood, never burn bridges, even if they need to be burned. Just do everything that you can to never leave a bad taste in anyone's mouth. Take the knee, take the loss, you know, just keep a good reputation. You always have an opportunity. It's so important. Um, I've, I've, I've met people in rooms I never thought I would meet them. Um, it, I've had total 360s with people that I've met once who give me opportunities that changed my life. So, um, you won't have an easy growth in fashion if you are somebody who holds grudges or are easily triggered. It won't work, or it would just be a very um, difficult growth in the industry. I was reliable, problem solving, always willing to help, and that was because I was always studying, so I can be ahead of challenges. Being able to communicate is really important. I noticed at some point that I got a lot of opportunity because I knew how to behave and how to communicate around clients. This was really important. I had to show that I had an education other than just knowing how to sew. I have manners. I made myself I made myself to match the level of work I wanted to do. My whole presentation um, matched where I wanted to go. And so a lot of things were for me. I didn't just move as an invisible person. A lot of times when people come up to me, they'll find out I was a tailor. They'll be like, "Really?" Because I wasn't dressed like a tailor, whatever that means, right? I just made sure I dressed well, smelled good, carried myself really well, spoke really well. Um, and make sure I stay smart and um, where I can fit in any room, I can be in any conversation, and eventually that led to business, that led to being known and being recognized and being needed and being worked with. And so yeah, that's how you get noticed in fashion. It's not just with networking and things like that. Um, it's not just working for companies on forever. You really have to like have a strategic way of moving through the smoke. And also, the thing that is so important is your brand. If you were just a regular Joe, you were going to get regular Joe results. But if you present yourself as the brand that you want to work for, or if your image, your presence, and your presentation mirrors the level where you want to be in fashion, it's going to work for you because people are going to notice you. They're going to take you seriously. They're going to give you a chance. And once you show them what you can do, you won't have enough time for opportunities. And so that's my spiel for today. Thank you so much for watching this video. I plan on having a lot more like this coming up. Like the video, comment, share if you would, subscribe if you like what you're hearing, and I hope to see you on the next one. Peace.